There are a few days in a man's life that he always remembers. One of those days is when he takes ownership of his first Ranger bass boat. And so for me, that day is today, because I just left the Collins boat dealership in Smithfield, North Carolina. And when I left, I had a brand new custom Ranger Z520R behind me. I'm so happy about it. I'm so excited about it. I wanted to share it with you guys, do a little quick walk around video so you can have a look at it. And I try to keep you guys up to date with everything that I'm doing fishing related. And this is definitely fishing related. So I'm here at Falls Lake. I'm at the Barton Creek boat ramp. I'm gonna go ahead and start the process of breaking in the motor. But before I did that, I'm gonna let you guys take a quick walk around with me and let me know what you think. You ready? Bang. There she is. Now, 2023 Ranger Z520R. And I custom ordered this. And for the paint scheme, I got the blackout edition. I'm not sure how well you can see, but it is primarily black with a little silver, well, quite a bit of silver mixed in. And it looks bad to the bone to me. Lawrence Ghost trolling motor here. Some of these things on the boat are going to change after I get done with it, after I rig it out the way I want to rig it out. But I'm really excited about all the stuff on this boat that I put on it. This is the biggest motor I've ever owned, Mercury 250 horsepower. And I've never owned a Atlas or a hydraulic jack plate. This is an Atlas, and these are twin power pole blades. Excited about having an Atlas jack plate. I plan on fishing a little more shallow water this year because I have to, because I'm going to fish some tidal fisheries up north a little bit, well, kind of north, in the James and the Potomac. And so I think that Atlas jack plate is going to come really in handy when you're trying to scoot across shallow water. Really excited about that. I made a switch to Lowrance this year. I've ran Garmin for the last 3 years, fairly happy with it. But I'm excited about having Lowrance too. Now right now you see there's 2 graphs up here. We will be having 2. There's 3 graphs in this boat. There's another one in the center locker here. We're gonna have to mount up. So I'll be running 2 12s up here. I've never had 2 graphs at the front. That'll be fun to have too, and hopefully beneficial, because I like to fish offshore a lot, and I think the more stuff you can have up front helping you do that, the better. But again, super happy. There's so much I could talk about the boat, but I'm not going to bore you with it. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick rundown or a quick look over Ranger ride system. Gone are the days of rocker switches and buttons. Everything you need to do on your boat can be done through this screen right here. And there are some fail-safe buttons down here in case something goes haywire. But everything is all digital now. This is one of the things I ordered on the boat. I had this on. I had a step on my Triton, and I fish alone 95% of the time. And when I'm, loading the boat up by myself or launching by myself, especially in the winter months when it's cold and you can't take your shoes off, this thing is so beneficial. So I wanted to make sure I ordered this when I was custom building my boat last November. So yeah, it's just a quick walk around. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to break this motor in. It's a very critical part of this process, is those first 2 hours on that Mercury, doing it the right way. So I'm going to come out here, I'm going to break the motor in. I'm not going to show you that. There's plenty of videos on YouTube how to break in your motor, but basically you want to stay in the lower RPM ranges, and don't redline it right away. First 2 hours again are really critical. So I'm going to do that. Then when I get out on the water and get that done, I'll maybe open up the compartments here and let you guys look around one more time. But hey, I'm gonna put it on the water. Pretty excited. I can't stop smiling just because I'm so happy about it. So stick around. We'll let you see the inside of the boat here in a little bit. boys, oh my goodness, it is beyond my expectations plus some. I mean, well beyond what I was hoping for. This thing is like a Cadillac on the water. It just cuts and glides right through the water, right through a chop. I mean, it just feels like you are gliding on a cloud in this boat. Working on the break-in, hoping to get the first 2 hours here. I got an hour and a half into it, and an hour and a half I've been doing a bunch of circles and just, you know, just trying to keep the RPMs between 3,500 and 4,500. And man, it's just really, really impressive driving this thing for the last hour and a half or so. I haven't seen top speed yet. I'm not really a top speed kind of guy, but it just feels so good coming through the water. There is, I'm having to get used to a few things. I'm having to get used to Ranger Ride. Took me a minute to figure out where my gas gauge was, and literally it's right here on the main screen here. So that's taking a second for me to figure out. It's taking me a minute to figure out my live wells. There's the first fish mode here on the Ranger Ride. You press that, it's supposed to take care of things for the rest of the day, and it did work, but I'm not able to fill my live wells up quite as high as I'd like, and I think it's because of some of these switches down here. I'm trying to figure out that configuration. I'll show you that in a second. Trying to get comfortable with Lowrance Ghost. I haven't ever used one before, so that's going to take some time to get used to as well. I haven't done any fishing today. Don't even have a rod in the box, but I want to give you my first impressions of just the ride in this thing. I have heard the R boat, the R hull from Ranger, is phenomenal, and everybody's raved about it, and I see why now. It just feels different than what I'm used to, but different in a good way. You know, I feel like I can handle big water in this boat considerably better, and I'm looking forward to trying that. What else can I say about a ride? Just one word, man. It's just amazing. It's just great. It really, really is. Part of that might be too, I've been in a 19 foot for a long time. This boat is 20 foot. I want to say it's 20 foot 11 inches. I mean, it's basically a 21 foot boat. You start putting jack plates on the back of it that are 10 inches long and stuff. So it's a 21 foot boat. It's a big boat. It's very wide, very wide. We'll show you that. Let's go ahead and look at that right now. I'll let you get a peek around on some things. A lot of things are going to change. The boat's basically empty right now, which honestly, when you start adding weight into it, it might change how the boat feels and how heavy it is and that kind of stuff. Right now, it's basically empty and about a half a tank of gas. But like I just said, the Lowrance Ghost here, it's going to take me a minute to get used to that. I played around with that for a few minutes, and you know, it's going to take some time to get used to. One graph here, like I said earlier, we will be having two later. So we're not going to spend too much time there, but I will spend a couple of minutes right here. I have wanted a day box for a long time, and it might not seem like a big deal having a day box, but how many times have you been like on a Senko bite? But you always lose Senkos. You're always going to need to dig in your box and find one. Well, with that day box, I don't have to open up my big storage box here, dig around for stuff. I can keep everything I need for that day right here. So it seems like something small, but honestly, I've wanted a day box for a good long time now, and I finally got one. Right now we have the active target module in there, and there should be a switch box, a Blue Sea switch box there for all the electrical connections. The rod boxes here, man, they are gigantic, just gigantic. And you can see you still have some of the some packing stuff in there. Literally, this boat's right off the doggone factory floor. Center box here is really, really big too. Right now I've got I told you I had 3 Lowrance Live 12s. I bought this is a cup boat, the cup package boat, and I believe the cup package comes with they give you a NOCO battery booster there, or jump starter if you need it. And they were nice enough to include some Lucas Slick Mist there to keep your boat nice and shiny. They also gave you a fire extinguisher, which is nice, so you're pretty much legal right from the factory. You don't have to worry about adding a bunch of stuff. Just again, a giant storage box. I don't know how many 3700s will fit in here, but it's got to be a ton. So I got to get in here later this weekend and play around and start tinkering around and putting my stuff in here. Got a lot of work to do actually when you get a new boat. Oh, yeah, giant storage box. And this is just another rod locker here. You could put some stuff, you could put rods in here. I'm going to end up putting like life jackets and just random stuff in here, probably some tackle. They also gave you toolbox, which is cool too. You might just, I mean, I know it's just a toolbox, but still, it's free. They gave it to you. It's pretty cool. And then let's see, a lot of. I'll tell you this. I about tripped twice now, jumping down off of this step. It is a big step from here down to here. I don't know what that measurement is. It's got to be like 18 inches or something, man. It's a long, big step. And in my Triton, it was not as big of a step. But what that means is it's deeper here in the floor. In the cockpit, it's deeper. It feels deeper, which means the boat's probably riding higher on top of the water. But it's probably is the reason it feels so much different in a good way on the water. It's sitting a little bit higher, maybe. I don't know. But again, that's just such a big step from there. I about twisted my ankle stepping down a couple of times. So that's something else I have to get used to. So yeah, this is cool. So it's not a trash can, but man, I'm so sick and tired of soft plastics and random pieces of fishing line getting all over the place and ending up in the water. This is a nice little place to put all your trash during the day, and then you just get it out a little bit later. So it's not a trash can per se, but this is where all my trash is going. Another ginormous box. This is your cooler here. I don't know. I could put a lot of energy drinks in there. I can tell you that. A lot of energy drinks going in there. Let's look at this. This is what I was talking about. I'm going to have to figure this out. I got to see what or how these need to be set in order for my live wells to be, you know, working the way I want to. The way I like to work my live wells is I like to keep them on auto pumping all day, and then any overflow goes out the overflow drain into the bilge and gets pumped out of the boat. That's how I like it. That way you're constantly pumping fresh water in. Brand new boat, not quite sure how that works out yet, but I'll figure that out soon. And we'll look in there. This is not a divided live well. So you can see the divider here has holes in it, so they're going to be sharing water. First time I've ever had that. Every other boat I've had, the live wells have been independent of each other. So if we look here, same thing. Now it looks to me like we can take out these 8 screws. There's 4 here on this side, 4 here on that side, and you can make this one big live well. You want to? If you guys are out there trying to catch, I don't know, giant stripers or whatever, and you wanted to put them in here, I guess you could. This is nice. Ranger includes this little small bracket here for your cold tags. I believe that's the standard feature, which was really nice. Now, sometimes it's the little things, right? Look in this box. Sometimes it's the little things, and you might look at this and it'd be like, oh, it's just a regular old storage box, and you're right, it is, but it has this extra little shelf here, and you might just be saying to yourself, it's just a freaking shelf. I'm just telling you, man, storage on a bass boat is incredibly important, and that's just another little small area. That's a great spot for your fire extinguisher, or just anything that you need to have quick access to, but you don't want buried under everything else that might be in here. So it's something small, but it's a big deal to me. Another thing, something else I like, a lot of battery compartments on your boat open from the back to forward, which makes getting into it on the boat a lot harder. So I'm grateful that this battery compartment opens from front to back. That way when you're on the water and you got to come in here to do something, you can easily rummage around in here and do what you got to do a lot easier than if this lid was backwards. So that's super convenient. As far as the battery box goes, we're going to have a few changes in here. It does come standard with tracker lithiums. Lithium is the way of the future. If you're still running old wet cell batteries, look, you need to get into 2023, man, because that's dead technology. And sure, you can get them for a lot less, but lithiums are the way to go if you're a tournament bass angler. In the long run, it'll save you a lot of money, a lot. They last for days. They charge up super fast. For a guy like me that spends dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe 100 nights a year in a hotel fishing tournaments, I want to charge up as fast as I can so I don't have to leave my boat plugged in all night. So I'm grateful that I got the lithiums. My cranking battery is a big old Interstate 31 Group AGM. We're probably going to make some changes there, and I'm probably going to make some changes with my battery charger. So a little bit of work to do in here, but those tracker lithiums are going to stay right there. So that's that. Another storage box on the other side. And I guess that's it for right now. I mean, that's the boat in a nutshell. The ride is phenomenal. I love the way it's laid out. It's giant up there, a giant beam. I bet you I could put 14 rods on that front deck and still have plenty of room to walk around and maneuver myself around up there. Got a lot of work to do on the boat. Gonna rig it out exactly how I want it. Going to put the Active Target 2 on. That just came out, and I have that sitting in my garage right now. We're gonna have to install that. I don't love the flush mounted graphs here. When I first got the boat, I was like, dang, I could have saved me some money. I don't need a mount here. It looks fine. It's big. Everything's good to go. That's true. But when I got on the water, I found it really difficult to drive and had to reach an extra foot all the way to touch that thing. I mean, you might not be able to tell, but it's a long, like my hands fully reach, my back's in the seat and I can't reach it. So I have to lean forward, do this all while I'm trying to drive. I got to get this thing closer to me. And there was a ton of screen glare on it. So we got to get that thing, you know, off the dash there and bring it closer to me a little bit. Seems like there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I know what it was. Ranger ride. So everything is pretty much at the touch of your hand here, right? You could do anything on your boat with this right here. I can even put my power poles down if I want to. I just press down. Just look at them. Right? So everything is literally at the touch of your hand right here, which is good. But we all know sometimes things happens with computers, and you know, stuff happens, right? So if that happens, they did install hardwired buttons here to do some of the basic stuff with your live wells, the bilge pump out, and your lights. So they did include that just in case something does happen with a Ranger ride. You still have the ability to do some of the more basic stuff. I believe down here somewhere is actually a keyhole where you can actually start the boat with the key, again, if the computer system is out. Because as it stands now, boat starts and stops when you press that button. You don't even push, you just put your finger on it. It's really cool. What's my horn sound like? Oh my God, that's so loud. It's the first time I hit the horn. Did you see how loud that was? Yeah. So again, I'm still trying to get used to things. Let's see, one last thing here. I'm gonna let you guys go. Coin box with the really cool wireless phone charger. I don't know if this works or not. I hadn't tried it yet. I'm assuming it'll work. It's not going to fit. I don't think it'll fit with my I have an iPro or an iPhone 14 Max. I don't think it's going to fit. I think it needs to be slid down a little bit. And I don't even know if the case needs to be off of it. Let's turn it around this way. I'm doing this with one hand. No. No, she's not charging. So keep that in mind. If you have a bigger iPhone, that functionality might not be there for you. But let's go back in here. But there is a USB, so you can still plug in through your USB. They're right there. So that's my boat, guys. I'm super grateful to be in it. Super grateful for the people at Collins. I've been a joy to work with since November. That's kind of when all this started, you know, to happen. And, you know, I'm kind of speechless right this second, because I'm just like, am I really sitting on a brand new Ranger Z520R? Yes, I am. So really grateful to be here. Fred Page and Jeffrey Parrish at Collins and Smithfield, great guys to work with, super knowledgeable. Both of them have been in the boating industry for decades now. They know everything there is to know about White River Marine boats between Nitro, Triton, and Ranger. And I'm happy to be working with them this year. Happy to be running their bass tournament trail, the Collins Bass for Cash tournament series, which starts in March next month. So really happy to be working with those guys. Really happy to be in this boat. And that's that. You guys are going to give me a couple of months now to get a couple of tournaments under my belt with this boat, get it laid out exactly how I want, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a full walkthrough, a full video of everything I love about it, some things I'd like to improve about it maybe, which doesn't seem to be much. And so I'm gonna rig it out exactly how I want it. It's going to be an offshore fishing machine when I'm done with it. So again, appreciate you guys watching. I got 30 more minutes to break in this motor, and then we're going to go home, rig it up. We're going to try to figure out how to catch some bass here real soon. Appreciate you guys watching.